there is still a culture of, running away from accountability. They will defend and try to keep their end up, but it's just still in this country today, and hopefully, as people who've been through it, not only ourselves but others, we can try and change this.
When the inquiry started, I had a hope that public authorities would have moved on from when it all happened in 1989. But sadly, I realised very soon on into the inquiry that nothing had changed, that everything had stayed the same, and that these authorities were just out to defend their actions and to put the blame on the fans.
Well, I think when we first got the apologies, which over the years have not really helped, and then the way the defence of the police and the ambulance service, etc., came during the inquests, they became more and more meaningless as it went on.
I feel that they were only ever acting in their own interest, both in 1989, 1990 and 2016. I don't think that they were coming forward to give evidence to help us, as bereaved family members. I feel that they only came forward because the HIP report exposed them in the way that it did, and they were made to come forward to these new inquests. And I do feel that there is, within that situation, or within authority altogether, it seems that there is this huge culture of denial, and that these people do stick together and sort of protect each other, and that's not what they're there to do. They're there to protect people like myself, people like my dad, and they're there to provide a service, in particular. If they're in danger or they're in a situation where their life is at risk, they're supposed to act to save it, and they didn't do that and then lied about it thereafter.
We are sadly still in that state. People will, in the authorities, defend themselves. For what reason, I don't know. Maybe do you think we're in a sort of culture of claims, but it's not about that. Hillsborough families have proved that. It's about what is right, and the way they behave certainly isn't right.
Looking back at all that we'd been through, not just the 27 years, but to sit in that court and be part of what was all around us, and I now think that they should never, ever have been allowed to do what they did. How can the police still stand up in front of everybody, in front of the whole world, and tell lies? Are they not ashamed of their forces? I don't know how that can be allowed in this country. You're actually going to court and you think, well, now they're here, they've got to tell the truth, and they didn't. They were all an awful lot of lies that day.
These things are always drawn out to maybe water them down some way. But I think if anything, people have learned from Hillsborough is keep going, and the authorities, to me, still haven't learned lessons. They'll give you veiled apologies, to give you a small piece of condolence in Parliament now and again, but no. They haven't, because they put these laws into place, like the new Hillsborough law that we're hoping, and then we can maybe see some action quicker.
I have spoken before about a culture of denial within the police service in particular, but also other public authorities such as the ambulance service and the local authority, and I would go further actually, and I would say that there is a culture of denial, yes, but there's also a culture of covering up, of collusion between officers, and of just straight corruption, of trying to, and Hillsborough is by no means the only incident or event where this has occurred, where public authorities such as the police have tried to manipulate and distort the truth. to put their own version of events on what happened, which is very often far removed from what did actually happen.